In real time, we talking about 2 days later. We've let that there silicone right up in yonder. We let that silicone dry for a couple of days around that cylinder sleeve right there. And I've already, I started removing that, and I figured I better just bring it to everybody's attention that you do need to get that stuff off of there 100%. There's 2 easy ways to get that off of there after it's already dried up, and you can get right up in there with a screwdriver and get that off of there. And y'all see that piece right there? That right there, that's what's death to an engine. If that gets sucked up into one of them there oil galleyways, oh, you talking short life then. Anyway, I'm gonna save all of that. I'm gonna dig all of that out of there, and I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna sweep up the floor because I want to account forever. I want to account for all of that silicone. I don't want any of it to be astray. So I'm going to get that out of there, and then I'm going to sweep up, and then we'll come back. Another easy way to get that out, I'll show you something. You know, I very seldom ever mention anything about shop safety, but in this instance right here, what I done is I done cranked that air compressor hose up right there. I done cranked that up to full force. When you got shop air turned up on high pressure, be cautious with it, and don't forget to turn it back down there when you get done with it. But it'll blow that silicone right away from that. You just work with it a little bit. That high pressure air, get that silicone. Now let's clean up and get to the front of this engine. After a couple of minutes, with that there X-Acto knife, a screwdriver, and that high pressure air, you'll end up with a really clean rear cylinder sleeve sticking out there. And if y'all notice, I did go ahead and the inside of this crankcase was as clean or cleaner than the outside, and that's that Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer in there, 2 coats. And I will, before I button this up, we'll coat the outside of that cylinder sleeve there on the rear with some of that primer there, just a little brush job, you know. And probably ought to bring something to your attention that I did not point out in the last video. And this bolt right here coming through that crankcase right there, that has to be in there before you put that cylinder sleeve in there. I think I just kind of skipped right over that the last time. I didn't even mention it at all, but it's quite important that you put that bolt in there first. Let's get on up yonder to the front and get that crossbar off of there. Might as well to look at this stuff right here. That's that silicone. After about 2 days, it already set up there kind of permanent like. And this is the amount that was on the back of that cylinder, the squeeze out, so to speak. And that right there is what causes you problems when you're putting an engine together and you don't remove this stuff right here. And if you get some oil or gasoline on that, it'll swell up like a piece of chewing gum. Causes all kinds of havoc inside of a real good engine. And we just used a couple of screwdrivers and an X-Acto knife and that there high pressure air to get that off of there. It's time well spent. That crossbar that we put on there, if you remember, to hold that sleeve in there to where it would set up the silicone, was we just put this in here to position the sleeve until the silicone set up. It's perfectly straight across right there. Oh, that's going to be pretty good. Now we are going to run a flex hone in this cylinder here. We'll do that. But first, let's put that gas tank in there first.